is Nicole with Healthy Pet, and talking today about raw food, or at least introducing raw food and freeze-dried foods. Won't be a very long talk today because I do have allergies, seasonal allergies, and lots of coughing, and I don't know when I will start coughing, so I don't want to interfere with that. I have on display here a bunch of Primal products. This is their freeze-dried product and not their frozen product. I don't want to bring their frozen bags out onto the table for display purposes because the freeze-dried works just as well, and I don't want to compromise any product that people will be purchasing for their own pets. The freeze-dried is more than sufficient to bring out and show to you, because with any of the companies that make frozen food and freeze-dried food, they start with the frozen food and then put it through the freeze-drying process. So the freeze-dried is actually, again, when Primal makes a frozen food and they make freeze-dried, the freeze-dried is more expensive than just their frozen because there's the extra process of making it freeze-dried. Okay, so quick benefits to raw: healthier skin, shinier coat, healthier teeth. A lot of dogs will develop dental issues by the time that they're 2 years old, and overall dental issues can decrease the lifespan by 2 years. So it happens in the first 2 years and shortens the life by 2 years. So dental, you see, is a very big issue, and very quick and easy way to help prevent any issues is just by feeding raw or supplementing some portion of the diet with raw. I don't want people thinking that it's either all raw 100% or nothing. You can certainly feed dry food and use raw for a food topper, like 10 to 25% of their diet. You can use it for one meal, so raw can be 50% of the diet, or you can feed it intermittently, however is most convenient to you. So again, benefits of raw can be seen with just adding it as a food topper at that 10 to preferably 25%, but you don't have to be a 100% raw feeder in order to get those benefits. The healthier skin, shinier coat, the healthier teeth, and less gingivitis and plaque and tartar and all that, and it can also help decrease the amount of stool in the backyard. That's a big important thing. We talked about how much bacteria can be found in dog stool, and when you feed raw food, if you're not one of those people who's right out there cleaning up every single accident, not an accident for going outside, but after every single bowel movement, which I am not one of those people, the raw food, that stool breaks down really, really super fast. So when people feed high amounts of raw, and this is closer to the 100%, you find that their stool is very teeny tiny and it like crumbles into dust. But if you're feeding some percentage of raw, you'll still see that the stools are tinier and they're not as smelly. So even if, getting into grossness, but even if you find that there's a lot of flies that are in your backyard when you feed certain types of food, the more raw that you feed, the less other critters you have coming into your yard, which is kind of nice. And again, the breaking down and composting, or whatever route you go with in dealing with your dog's waste, raw will make it smaller and easier to deal with. Okay, so moving on from that, other benefits to raw, especially for cats, is that helps with kidney issues. So one of the big common things that we hear from with cat owners, and we'll actually do a talk on this in like a week or two, is that with cats get a lot of renal failure and a lot of kidney issues, so that most of the time it's because of lack of water, lack of moisture. Cats, when they eat all of the crunchy food, they tend not to take in as much water as they need to take in. So if your cat's used to drinking half a cup of water, whether you're feeding them dry food or canned food or frozen food, or raw food, they're still only going to drink that half cup of water. They won't increase the amount of water with the less moisture that there is in their food. So that is one of the big things that raw food or even just canned food can bring to your cat's diet. The same is true for dogs. We just don't run into as many issues with dogs with renal issues. One of the big things that we always recommend with dry food is adding moisture, adding water to it anyways. And whether you do that with bone broth or straight up water, or you do it with raw or dehydrated foods, There's lots of different ways to get moisture into dogs, and dogs are pretty happy to take anything extra that you give to them, whereas cats can be a little bit more persnickety about that sort of thing. Going back to Primal specifically, Primal with their formulas, they do use organic fruits and vegetables whenever those are possible, and that means most of the time that they do use the organic. Their biggest things that they seem not to be able to source all the time organically are blueberries and cranberries, but looking at the back of their packaging and their ingredients, it's just organic, organic, organic with all their fruits and vegetables, again with the exceptions of blueberries and cranberries. Most of their formulas are raised without added hormones or added antibiotics, and that's different, and that gets into a whole nother topic that we can do, talking about the use of antibiotics and the difference between antibiotic free, raised without antibiotics, and what that means for the meat that you're using. But again, for most of their products, beef would be the exception. Their products are raised without the antibiotics and hormones. This one will test as antibiotic free, but that has to do with the amount of time between antibiotics, and again, that's a whole topic area. But as far as getting into clean meats, the Primal company does really focus on the quality of their ingredients and where they're sourcing things from, so that whether, again, you use this as just a food topper and using it as more of a treat, or using it as 100% of their diet, you know the quality of the meat and the quality of the fruits and vegetables that they add to it. So that's really important whenever you're feeding your pet anything, and it's nice that Primal makes that guarantee on their products. So again, wrapping this up, raw food does not have to be 100% all or nothing. It can be any range between 10% up to 100% in finding the amount that makes sense for your pets. It can also help with allergies, which I did not mention earlier, but definitely help with the allergies, the healthier skin and coat, less waste in the backyard, healthier dentals, and help with kidney function and kidney issues, mainly with cats, because we don't see it as often with dogs, but definitely helps with dogs as well. And again, we'll do more in this series with more detail on all of the raw and answering people's questions about the safety concerns or any sort of information on how to get in that 10% amount and how to feed it, and also addressing how it can be used to help with allergies and as an elimination diet for your dog. So at Healthy Pet, we love your dog loves you. We hope to see you both in soon. Thanks.